You're welcome back from that very valuable segment with Dr. James Komolafe on the behavioral check segment. Of course, like I told you before introducing that segment, it's always a segment filled with tips, very valuable health tips to help us get by. Because what is this life without good health? And what is health if it is not balanced mentally, physically, and as Dr. James Komolafe would always say, spiritually also, because it's all of this gamut that makes a complete and happy human being. Now, this now brings us to our interview segment, where, of course, we will be taking a look at a very trending matter that has generated a lot of conversations in different spaces. In the couple of weeks ago, of course, Nigerian media space, both social and mainstream, have been inundated with news about the CBN relocating some of its offices to Lagos. And before that, we heard, that was quickly followed also. It didn't help matters anyway. It was followed by relocation of FAAN, that is Federal Airport of Nigeria Airport, back to Lagos, because we have to put it in context. It was in Lagos originally. FAAN headquarters was in Lagos until the government of Muhammadu Buhari came into power, and Hadi Sirika, who was the Minister of Aviation, decided to relocate FAAN headquarters from Lagos to Abuja. And of course, the present Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, decided that in the interest of the ministry, looking at other factors, the office headquarters should be relocated, moved back to Lagos for operational efficiency and all of that. Now, this has generated a lot of conversation. Matters have arose on this subject matter, and that's why we have invited our own, he can qualify to be called our own in-house analyst, Mr. Bosun. You're welcome. You have not been here this year, have you?
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning.
I don't know. Maybe once or
this year. So. I don't think you'll be here. So it's good to tell you Happy New Year.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so how have you been?
It's been great.
Good.
Yeah, I started on a good note. So I would believe that the year is going to be better for Nigeria. Though challenges here and there, insecurity, particularly within and around the FCT, but with the last 2-3 days efforts being recorded by the police and the Minister of FCT, I think we have cause to be hopeful that in the next few weeks we should be able to heave a sigh of relief. So far
so good. So far so good. I like that spirit and I key into it. All right, while we are here, I'm sure you've also been following the news, the trending stories around government decision to relocate, first of all, some key CBN offices, including Banking Supervisory Department of the CBN, to Lagos. And of course, that didn't generate as much conversation as when Federal Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development decided to say FAAN headquarters, that the Federal Airport of Nigeria headquarters, should be moved back to Lagos where it was originally. Let's start with the CBN. Okay. Are you convinced with the reasons given by the CBN for this relocation?
Okay, my brother, I think I'll start by saying, as a nation, as Nigerians, what do we really want? It's a public knowledge, everybody's aware that we have different tribes in this country. We have different people coming together to form a nation. And if we must go along to achieve the desires, the dreams of our founding fathers, I think we must do away with certain things. Each time that a government in power decide to do certain things, and the people who are possibly their own tribe or ethnic
not beneficiaries,
not even benefiting now. They are not the one in government. We always have this suspicion that possibly this move, this action is targeted at us, or it will not be beneficial to us, and because of that they raise the flag. But coming back to the pointed question, if you look at CBN, the department that is affected is basically the supervisory department. And I think people who don't go to school in Nigeria know that 95% of the banks in Nigeria have their headquarters in Lagos. And if you want to check the books, you want to supervise what a bank does, I don't think that should be done at the branch. That shouldn't be done at the regional office. It should be done at the headquarters of those banks. So if those people that are supposed to now do those work, they are actually here in Abuja, and each time they need to do their work, government will have to spend extra code, apart from certain other expenses, to ensure that that work is done outside their salary. And this has been like that for several years. And somebody comes into the office and felt like, can't we have a second look at this? Can't we do this differently, and that we spend less? Okay, we have office in Lagos, where these people who are working here in Abuja can actually be accommodated. As a matter of fact, as time goes on, we can even decide to expand it. So why don't we relocate this department whose primary work is actually in this location? Can't we relocate them to where they ordinarily supposed to be? And they've given them, in fact, at the time it came to the public, we learned that the memo has been served to the concerned staff. In fact, the cost of the hardship allowance and whatever that have been paid to the concerned, but because a few of them, just like the number of articles I've read now, one was even issued by a notable northerner who had served in CBN before, but who didn't come from a privileged family. So he shared his experience. I read it yesterday. And because of those children of the big wigs, so to say, who believe that working in our CBN is doing Nigeria a favor, and therefore they can decide where to work. So when you want to move them from Abuja, the seat of power, to any part of Nigeria, they see that as inconvenience. So because of their noise, their fathers, you know, anything that trades on two things in Nigeria, you have sympathy: religion and ethnicity. No matter the content, no matter the trust of the matter, the moment you introduce any of these, people will, there will be a bad wagon effect of how people will react to it. Whether the reason they are giving is actually genuine. Because when I listen to somebody that I think supposed to know, somebody that I respect so much, that I believe when he speaks a number of times, I always like to listen. In the person of Senator Ali Ndume, I was highly disappointed. I felt like that that interview shouldn't have taken place in the first place. Because when you went to the extent of saying, and before I even go into that, people have been asking, why are the Arewas or the Northerners so concerned about this? The Abuja we know is Gwari's place. It's owned by, like somebody wrote in his article, it's neither Fulani nor a Muslim environment.
It's in the north.
Is it? No, not is. When you say north, north is not just the Hausa Fulani. There are a lot of people in the north. So why are they making it look like it is our land and therefore we will protect whatever this land belongs to all Nigerians?
Okay, let me just pause.
By the virtue of before you pause me, by the virtue of the law that set up this FCT in I think around 1976,
yes.
The committee was headed by a Yoruba man. something Aguda. That's the name of the man who headed that committee that recommended FCT as the proposed FCT, I mean the capital of Nigeria. And this man did it out of, because ordinarily a Yoruba man shouldn't be at the forefront of championing the cause of relocating the federal capital from Lagos.
As if we are going by that sentiment,
yes,
that you are trying to debunk.
Yes.
Yes.
But this man felt like, no, alongside the people that they work together, and said, let's take the capital of Nigeria to the center of Nigeria. And that was how this place was located. And the indigents were paid certain things to resettle them for compensation and all that. And the place became the property of Federal Republic of Nigeria. So it means an average Nigerian, no matter where you come from, whether from the west or from the east or from the north, you have equal allegiance, equal claim on the land called Abuja, and nobody should try to personalize it and make it look like it's an Hausa or Fulani hegemony that should determine what happens in this place. You know, one of those things that have been happening over time is people believe that an FCT minister should be from this part of the nation. Okay,
so that we stay on the conversation.
Okay, let's go ahead. But I think we are still on the conversation. Of course,
so that we stay on the conversation. You know, you've made you've laid a solid background to this conversation, that you use the word few people.
Yes.
And it's these few people who are affected by this decision that are making the loudest noise. Because I always want people to disintegrate what we refer to as the North. Because anytime these conversations come up, especially that are politically inclined, then you hear about the North says no to this, the North wants this, the North accuses this of that. Now, apart from Ali Ndume and a few other people who call themselves groups,
like Arewa Youth,
so-called Arewa. I am a youth from the Arewa extracurricular. Anytime I hear all of this,
but the guy is known for that anyway. The Arewa youth leader is known for it.
Exactly. So
I remember when towards the end of Buhari's government, when the APC was saying they are looking for where the next candidate will come from.
Yes.
It was one of those people who said there is nothing compelling Buhari to hand over to a Southerner. So he has this penchant for...
You know, there are people who have etched their marks.
I want to throw your part. And I think I would like to say that we have seen notable Northerners, elites. And among them is the former emir of
the 14th emir of Kano.
The 14th emir of Kano.
So that's where I was actually driving at.
Mamadou Sanusi.
So voices like that should also be amplified.
No, it's very amplified. In fact, it gives Nigerians the reason to feel like those others who were shouting at the top of their voice.
You can count them. You can count them. And like you said, you read articles.
He said in his own response that ordinarily he wanted to do the same thing as a sitting CBN governor when he was there.
Okay.
That for somebody to be able to do it now, he felt that's a great thing to have been done. And a number of other people, Northern Senators Forum, have also come out to say Ali Ndume was speaking on his own. He was not speaking for the North. No, I'm not. My earlier submissions were not saying. I'm only saying that a few of them who always, okay, for example now, it's not part of what we are discussing, but it's still part of it. Like two people in the last few days released a statement saying because one Northerner, maybe a Fulani, who happened to be a kingpin, a Fulani person, was arrested in one part of the nation, and they are threatening the whole nation that if government does not release the guy, every community in Nigeria will hear it. And they are coming for Nigeria. That what they are saying now will be a child play. Who does that? Who does that? And these people will tell you they are speaking on behalf of an ethnic group.
But
it's not true. It's not true.
So if you know,
we see a number of Fulanis, Hausas in this nation who are fine Nigerians,
exactly,
doing great things, and some of them will even They will be ready to die to hold Nigeria together.
Okay. Like, sorry, let me just hold your thought. If you go on the streets of Kano, go on the streets of Katsina, Sokoto, I'm mentioning the coast, core northern states, go to streets of Maiduguri to do a census, because whether we accept it or not, it's not only those who speak on TV and write on the newspaper that are northerners.
Of course, yes.
Even someone who is pushing wheelbarrow and is a northern, go and ask him, what do you think about relocating the CBN supervisory department to Lagos? And hear what he will tell you. That's if he even understands what you are even saying. But when these people come to TV and have the platform to speak, and they say, and they speak, those who don't want to toe the path of truth will say he's speaking on behalf of the North.
You know the worst. You know the worst thing.
So,
you know the worst thing.
Yes.
Ali Ndume went to the extent of threatening the sitting president.
Of course, you know, if you have read the article, you know he has a daughter in CBN.
To reverse that policy or that action, that there will be consequences.
Of course. So you
and the guy asked him, what consequences? He said there will be political consequences. So and he also went. The guy, he said so much in that interview. He said, "Is it Lagos that made the president? Is it the Yoruba people?"
So you can understand where he's speaking from.
I don't understand.
So Ali Ndume,
those are the people that are supposed to know. Yes. They're supposed to. And the guy was even saying that you heard the committee on Army. So if somebody at that level, and again deputy, I think it's deputy leader of Senate.
Yes.
And you have lost sense of
patriotism. He's a ranking senator, as they call them.
You just open your mouth and talk anyhow, as if you are a common Nigerian. I'm sorry, it's quite, it's way below the belt.
So part of the matters arising is what I want Nigerians to understand. You hold Ali Ndume by his comments. Ali Ndume speaks for himself. A lot of notable northerners and even those not so notable have come out to say, this is not my position. I have nothing to do with what Ali Ndume have said. We can't also wish away the fact that he is directly concerned now about this, not because he cared about where the office is, but because there is a political statement to be made, and of course there is also a personal anger to be vented. We understand that he has a daughter in the CBN who also is affected in the department and all of that. And she's not too comfortable with moving to Lagos and all of. So that's why I say your foundation for this conversation was solid. It's just a voice of
one thing I didn't say to you. 5 years ago, I had a client. I went to meet him in a room, his hotel room. And I told him about certain things, and he said, even you, young man, that if you want to work in CBN, I can help you. Unfortunately, you didn't come on time. That seat where you are sitting down, that's where Emefiele's PA came to deliver 5 appointment letters. Because this is what Emefiele did to us as a nation. Children that went to school in abroad, that were not even interested to work in CBN, you handed them a job they were not prepared to do, that they are not ready to give anything to.
But didn't Emefiele just come to continue a tradition?
So yes,
he just came to tradition. Not just in CBN.
No, I'm only saying that you will understand why these children are not ready to leave Abuja.
Exactly.
To Lagos, so they are not taking them to Port Harcourt, they are not taking them to Ilorin, they are not taking them to Maiduguri.
For an average northerner, Abuja is the peak of it. If you are not in Dubai, you should be in Abuja.
And when they take you out of Abuja to any part of Nigeria,
any other part of Nigeria, you are not in Nigeria. Exactly. So you now understand those who are concerned. It's not me and you that are working in CBN.
It's not.
Like I said earlier.
Wait, an average northerner, a young northerner, or even whether young or a bit average now, average age now, who is working in that system, but who is not coming from a godfather or somebody in government, does not have any reason to complain.
Exactly.
You are grateful to Nigeria.
True.
But because of these spoiled brats.
Now you are talking. Because the issue is this.
No, I went that far because of what Ali Ndume did.
Exactly.
But ordinarily I understand that the concept here is that everything is around efficiency.
True.
So we just want to say, how can we do this job better and spend less? That's the idea about this relocation. So the CBN governor Olayemi Cardoso is not here to do any
Abracadabra.
abracadabra or to deal with a section of,
exactly.
because I believe that apart from this whole issue we are talking about now, the people in that department, they are not only populated by northerners.
Exactly. So
there will be people from the south there,
definitely,
who also ordinarily don't want to move back to Lagos because possibly in the last 10 years their families are here,
yes.
everybody is here. So when you say they should move to Lagos, everybody will feel the pain. It's normal. Everybody wants
relocation is normally,
so you can't dictate to your employer where to work,
because
your
that's the
employer
question.
is to tell you where you will work.
That's the question I asked someone, that okay, all this noise, does that mean that all this while, so that department is populated by northerners alone?
It's not possible.
And if that is the case, how many of them have actually come out? Because like you said, this memo came out as far back as when, and people have even relocated already.
Some people have gone already.
They have gone, so they are settled, they have commenced
because
work.
those people don't have godfathers. They didn't complain.
It's not even in their place to make any
But
noise.
some of them, because they now gave them deadline that so time you have to go.
Yes.
So, and they have options. Either you go or you leave the job.
Leave the job.
So, and because they don't want to leave the job,
Yes.
they believe they are godfathers and
When
the
they talk,
political
they will
influencers should be able to make this noise.
Yes.
So the government will be fast. And they've forgotten something. And I think I need to say it there. Governments are different. People who occupy that position of power are also different.
Very different.
We have seen in this nation when a president will come up with a policy and people will shout, and without even thinking about it, the policy will be withdrawn. It has to do with the character of the people who occupy that office. And I can say to Ndume and his co-travelers on that route that the current president is not a chicken-hearted
No,
president.
it's not. It's not.
So if he would do that, he would have done it on subsidy removal, not on a very
flimsy matter.
Flimsy, God bless you, give me that word.
You know, one thing I've drawn people's attention to with respect to the present occupant of Aso Rock is that this is a man who, during the most sensitive time of his career, which is while he was campaigning to be president of this country, that was when he talked about subsidy. He said, I will remove it and I will win this election.
And he said, no matter how many days
you protest, you understand?
It won't change.
That was the most sensitive period that a politician will lie to your face just so that he gets what he wants from you. But he was bold enough to say that back then. Now that he's in power, that he will be intimidated by your rants, by your threats, which does not even hold water. If you prove everything Ali Ndume said on a scale of reason, it will fail. It weighs it has no weight, because you keep asking, is this man truly fighting for the interest of the North, or there is another thing that he is fighting for?
One of those people are also saying is that possibly what he wanted in this government, he has not gotten it. But now that you mentioned the issue of the daughter, I can understand. Perfectly. Some of these children are spoiled, like I said earlier. They can push their parents to do anything.
Exactly.
So, and when the pressure is coming from the daughter, the father felt like, I think I need to speak out, so that at least, if not for anything, this girl will be satisfied that at least I pushed.
And sometimes these things come from very misinformed positions. Misinformed in the sense that.
But can you say somebody of his stature?
Oh, it's possible. My father will always tell me when I'm praising somebody. I think
I agree with you, because he was also saying in that interview that if it is about that, now why can't we relocate it to Nasarawa, to Kaduna? And I'm asking myself, what will supervision department of CPM be doing in Nasarawa or Kaduna?
Maybe the headquarters of banks are there.
So I can agree with you that misinformation or lack of it.
Exactly.
Actually,
so some of these things are from very misinformed positions.
When I was in the university, my friend, we used to joke. We say some people display academic aridity.
Exactly.
So it's not about position.
It's not.
Ignorance can actually cut across. But about the other one, the FAAN. I like your introduction. You lay very good, and that is what a journalist should always be doing. You made us to understand that it's not as if Kayamo just wake up and say this thing should go to Lagos. It has always been in Lagos. The question now is that what were the reasons canvassed by Adi Serika in 2019 when he was proposing to Muhammadu Buhari that this FAAN should come to Abuja. Because just like the same way we talk about CBN, 70% or above
of the flight operations,
flight traffic in Nigeria happens within Lagos. But Lagos is the flight hub, aviation hub in Nigeria.
Of course.
So if there is an agency of government
that regulates
the affairs of that operation, where should they be ordinarily? Where should they be ordinarily? And besides, it's a different thing if that is just happening now. If after Tinubu had become president, it's when they are now thinking of taking it back, taking it to Lagos. It will have been a different thing, but it has always been there. Possibly the same way the Serica saw it and felt like, okay, maybe for ease of communication between his office and the people who head that place, he brought it to Abuja. And this other guy who came now felt like, I think their work, their regulations, their regulatory functions is actually more important than proximity to the seat of power.
Of course.
So possibly that could explain why they are taking it back to Lagos. And just like we said earlier, among the people working in this place will be people of diverse backgrounds, of ethnicity, of religion. So why is it a section of the country also making noise about this? But I want to correct that. Not a section of the country, a few individuals. So why these individuals, why are they making noise about all this? And I want to say that where I started from, we must begin to look at the project Nigeria as a collective project. And we should run away from centrifugal forces and concentrate on centripetal forces. We should dwell more on things that bring us together and run away from things that separate us. People who have opportunity platforms to speak about things that bind us together, they should do more. People who have the opportunity to also speak about the current project in Nigeria, they should show some level of patriotism. Because situation where people just come on here and say things that could anger, even if they are minorities, they should have I think on the whole, I would say the two issues, CBN and FAAN, for me, the reasons adduced by those who took those decisions, they are very reasonable. Except you want to be mischievous about it, the reasons are very, very credible. And that has not stopped. Okay, in the course of all these whole arguments, somebody said almost all institutions of military in Nigeria are located not in the north,
in the north,
in just a few locations. Kaduna is the chief beneficiary of most of these things we are talking about. So what's special about Kaduna? That's the question. But if people over the years have said, okay, maybe military have reasons why they do that, and nobody is making noise about it, why should one or two departments, not even a whole, and some people have amplified it to mean that there is a sinister plan to relocate Nigerian federal capital back to Lagos.
Those are just some extensions of the mischief, like you said. You know, there are people who at all times they wear political lenses. Some wear ethnic lenses. So anything that anything that the government of the day does, they only see it through those lenses. Yes, and the unfortunate thing is that these are people who have access to platforms to speak, and when they speak, the tendency to assume that they are speaking on behalf of a region or an ethnic group or a religion is always very, very high.
I want to say it, sir, that they do this deliberately.
Deliberately, of course. It's a shield. Yes, it's a shield. We know how it's been working for some groups and all of that. But going forward, you've already started by calling on, us, all of us, on the things that we should do in the interest of Nigeria, which is, of course, to drop these lenses and focus more on the project Nigeria. Now, of course, we did talk about the character of the president, that he's not someone who chickens out because of this type of furrows and all of that. But we have also seen that he is a very listening president, of course, in the sense that you look at what happened in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
You may also adduce to that he's a listening person, of course, that he knows he will see reasons to reverse that.
Okay, we'll wait for that. But the point where I was going is that we saw when the public rose and spoke out loudly on the corruption allegations going on in a particular ministry, that the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, the president didn't even waste a minute to respond swiftly. Going forward, would you, advocate for this type of response, especially by those in power, particularly the office of the president, and including governors?
The challenge Nigeria faced in the last 8 years before the advent of this government was not because our economy was bad or insecurity was high or something. For the time President Muhammadu Buhari, in his innocency, I need to underline that, because he didn't do it because he didn't love the country. This is a country he fought for as a general. Yeah. He rose through the rank to become a general. So it's a country he loved so much. But I talked about the character of individual. People who have worked with Buhari will tell you that, in fact, his friend, Buba Galadima, said it on television that Muhammadu Buhari didn't know how to settle fights among his children. They would rather leave them. So that's his nature. He doesn't go to the extent of saying, I give you an assignment and you do it. But fortunately for Nigeria today, we have another one that is like a Mourinho as a coach. Even when you are playing, he wants to play with you. Yes. Fashola had come out to say a lot about his relationship with his former boss and how, and anybody wants to work with him, how they must be prepared. A few days ago, I heard this special advisor in charge of policy harmonization, this guy, this lady, Hadiza Bala, she was saying that there might likely be shifting of table,
cabinet reshufflement
ongoing as we speak now. A 140-member committee has been set up that will review the performances. Somebody will ask, we didn't have many months. So it means the president does not have the patience.
He doesn't have it
to wait for you for 1 year for you to prove whether you are active or you are delivering or not. He said it that there will be a reviewing of their performances, and those who do not see the vision that they will afford to possibly bring them closer and open their eyes. But those who don't do at all, who don't perform at all, they will be shown the exit door.
I think the president said that clearly.
So we are not surprised that that is happening already. And like where you started from, responding to people, the outcry during the Ula Balu around the Ministry of Humanitarian, I can say the decision was taken that time in pain. If you know the relationship between Betta Edu and Mr. President. Yes. Because this young lady went all out during the campaigns. She did everything human being could do to ensure the enthronement of this government. So for such a person to be the first casualty of it's a statement.
It's a statement also.
Because the president wanted to make a statement to convince Nigerians that he's not ready to abhor corruption in this government and that there will be no sacred cow. He went to do the needful, suspended her and commissioned an inquiry immediately into the activity. In fact, he went again to get special investigators to not just stop at what happened, but to review all the activities of the whole and come up with recommendations. He set one for that, and another one headed by the coordinating minister of the economy, Wale Edo. So when you look at those actions, you see a president who is not ready to take excuses. And I was saying in a forum recently that people who work under this president, I think they should sit well. They've seen enough signals. And if any one of them, and one of those things they also need to do is that the idea of I'm the minister, the palm sec doesn't matter. It's palm sex. Some of them are even die enough to be your father, to be your mother. So what an elderly person will see while sitting down, you as a young person may not see it with all your powers.
Even if you climb
even when you climb the upstairs. So it's important that some of them calm down. Let them do the work and take counsels. It doesn't make you subservient to the PAMSEC. But because they have experience over the years, you should always allow them to advise. Yeah. Well, I want to believe that if Better Edu has been able to do that, she wouldn't have run into certain things she later ended up running into. So what I will say is that the president should sustain the tempo.
Okay.
He should listen more to the people, but in listening, he should not be blackmailed into taking a popular decision, irrespective of whether it's the right or wrong decision. A leader is known to take hard decision when he says that at the end of the day it will be to the general good of the society. It doesn't matter whether some people will be hurt with that decision, but as long as your conscience satisfies that at the end of the day the generality or the majority of the people will benefit from that decision, other than a few oligarchic group. So I want to believe that the president has what it takes to continue, but at the same time the policies that have a kind of negative effect on the people, like the one we are still going through, the subsidy removal and all that, all the things promised to alleviate those issues that come with it, to reduce them to. We have not seen much of that. So I still want the president to do something. And our forex, we just saw this morning that $500 million have been cleared again to support and to strengthen our Naira. We want to see more of that. We want to see repatriation of money made by foreign entities, which is giving some of them concern to continue to do business in our environment. So we want to see more of that. We understand that the economy is not really smiling, but government should be focused. Government should be genuinely concerned about what people are going through, because government is all about people. So it's not just about pronouncements. You must make pronouncements that is in tandem with the welfare of the government. Is all about welfare and security of the people, and that should reign paramount in the heart of our president. We wish you the best of luck.
And on this note, I have to also wish you the best of luck. But before that, I have to thank you very much, Mr. Bosun Adeyeye, for gracing our show this morning with this very deep insight into the issue of conversation. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for having me.
And on this note, we draw the curtains on this segment of the program to go join the Investment Plus team with the investment where we get to listen to some financial tips on how to be financially smarter. Financial management, like we say, is very, very key, particularly in these very interesting economic times. Do stay with us. We'll be right back after that segment.